So here we are, a question on the normal distribution. Normal distribution is absolutely everywhere, so that's why it's in the A-level syllabus. Let's see how we get on with this question. So with any question about normal distribution, my first instinct is to draw a little diagram. So what we've got here, we're told that the mean is 140 and the variance is 260. So the standard deviation is 16.1 roughly. And in order to get the scale roughly right, I'm saying that this point here will be the mean plus 3 standard deviations. This point here will be the mean minus 3 standard deviations. So 3 standard deviations around about 50. So those two numbers are 190 and 90. So that gives me a roughly accurate scale figure, a scale drawing. So for part A, I'm looking for the probability that the randomly chosen essay took longer than 2 hours. Well, the scale here is minutes, so 2 hours is 120 minutes, longer than 120 minutes. So I'm looking for this area here. And we can use our calculators with putting the mean, standard deviation, the lower value and an upper value of, well, I put in something like 10,000 for the upper value to make sure that I don't miss anything. So that's the probability of a randomly selected essay taking longer than 2 hours to write. And then we're looking at 2 essays now chosen from a large number of essays. Each of those 2 essays has got to be completed in less than 2.5 hours. So 2.5 hours is 150 minutes, which is roughly here. So the probability that one essay is completed in less than 2.5 hours would be this area here. And we can again calculate that with our calculators. And that's the probability that any single essay is less than 2.5 hours to complete. But we want 2 essays from a large number of essays. So if we call those 2 essays X1 and X2, then what we're looking to find is the probability that both X1 is less than 150 and X2 is 150, less than 150. Now these are independent events, so we can simply multiply the 2 probabilities together and get the answer to the question. Okay, for part C, we're looking at a conditional probability. We're given the randomly chosen essay took longer than 2 hours to write. So we need the formula for conditional probability. So there it is. Now, what is our A and our B in this case? Well, we're given that the randomly chosen essay took longer than 2 hours. So A, that's given A will be X longer than 2 hours, greater than 120, and B is the other one, X less than 2.5 hours, less than 150. So when we put this in for A, there, and there, and this in for B, there, and there, we get the formula we're looking for. That one there. So we need to use our calculators now to find the probability that X is bigger than 120 but less than 150, so this will be the lower versus the upper, and then for the denominator, probability that x is greater than 120, that would be the lower, and the upper would be something like a big number. So those are the two values we get, and dividing one by the other, we get the required probability. So there we are. It's important, I think, to write things out carefully so that you know what you're doing, to try to keep on track. That's my advice. And the diagram also helps greatly.